This life happening continuously. Where has it started? No one knows. Where it is going to? No one knows. Where you are, there is the only responsibility that one can maintain. Where you are, how will you can maintain in that given space? There's a capacity. That is the stability that one should always be responsible for. How well I can be, not with what others have told you, not with what the community is demanding. The first demand is by the space, by the source itself. What the source is asking you to do, what the source is asking you to do. If you are able to maintain yourself with that space, with that source capacity, that is where you can be comfortably, wonderfully. That is the capacity required to maintain life wonderfully. The stability within oneself. The stability within oneself is the capacity to live your life wonderfully. If you cannot focus into your inner self and outer self, there is two selves. There is inner self and outer self. The inner self is completely void of what is happening outside. The outer self is completely void of what is happening inside. But these are two sides of one. These are two sides of one. You won't have problems of these two together getting entangled. Never can be. If you are maintaining your life the way it is happening, then there is no question of any problems to face. No disease, no stress, no problem in your financial assets and everything. Your relationships, everything can work perfectly when you understand how yourself is working, how life is working. So focus, our capacity is to focus within. The more you focus within, the better clarity you get. The more you focus into the inner self, you get the clarity. Everyone has, everyone has the capability to understand what is happening to oneself. Associations with others is only to understand how well the body is functioning, how well the body is functioning, the need, the little needs, the meager needs to maintain oneself in the environment is very simple. It's not complicated to have the interaction perfectly done. The interaction is not complicated. Nothing is complicated once you know the inside and the outside perfectly. The inner self can be attained by focusing into your breath, the sound, and light. The outer self is connected with the taste, the sense of touch, and heaviness. The three parameters to maintain outer layer is by the taste, the touch, and by your weight, carrying yourself wonderfully. The inner self can be tuned in by the expansion, by the breath, by the sound, and by the light. These three are always for the inner self, and the three on the outer side. So, both when managed perfectly with clear awareness, one can maintain life wonderfully. No doubt, no one can rule you here. No one has authority over this capacity. Once you have attained with your maturity to maintain oneself with a harmony. Harmony means according to the process of creation, how the creation has happened. It's a simple alignment. Once you have reached, obtained this capacity, then only you can live your life. Otherwise, you will be pulled and pushed by everyone around. If you are not able to have this sense of awareness perfectly under your observation, one can never maintain oneself in that given environment. The climate, the time and space and everything will be against you always. The environment will be against you. The nature will be against you. Nothing will be according to yourself. You have to get along with the rhythm, get along with the harmony of being. That's the first, most important thing that one person should attain, not anything else. Not having the wealth, not having an association with others for anything else. No. Once you are capable of understanding how well one can sustain in the given space, then only association is possible for a better experience of your inner self and outer self. It's all to experience continuously, not to gain anything. Whatever you have gained through life is sufficient to have your rich life going on and on. And nothing else is required. Nothing else is required. Everything required is there in your own self. So, from the self, within the self, you have to open. The experience should begin from inside. If one cannot maintain the inner self within the observation, one cannot maintain clarity in the inner self continuously, then living is not possible. You will face problems which no one can repair because the space, the source is very strong. If you are avail the source without knowing perfectly, then it will give you problems. It cannot do otherwise. The source is very powerful. You are demanding problems from source. It will give you problems which cannot be repaired by anyone. So you have to have a mature body capable of understanding what you are seeking from the source. Tuning oneself with the source is very important. But if you are not able to have a mature body under your observation, you cannot have a source under your ability. It will go distorted. It will give you all the unwanted, which will be quite unbearable in life. So always focus very clearly how well the expansion and contraction is working and how well you can sense the breath in the inside of your body, how it is distributed through all parts of your body, similar to how food is distributed throughout your body, how water goes throughout your body, how the weight is carried, how the total weight, how gravity is working over your body. When you balance these two sides of your existential reality, life can be managed wonderfully. It is one's responsibility to have one's capacity under one's experience. If you are not able to bring this into your order, you will be used by other things and other people, always a servant to the community, never enjoying life. Life is always perfectly functioning. It never stops anywhere. It has got nothing to start. It's always functioning, waiting for no one. So you don't have to hesitate. It's waiting for no one. It's functioning continuously. It is working always. So there is no question of doubt, no problems in its process of being. There's absolutely no problems. As you focus into yourself, there are no problems. You focus deeply. Your subconscious mind will be distorted. It will be giving you lots of unwanted intuitions because it is early parenting. It's a damage done by early parenting. The early parenting, one when reached maturity, should cleanse the unwanted parenting happened in your early childhood. It's the responsibility of each and everyone to cleanse the unwanted parenting happened, unwanted social intervention into a person's personal space. One should be able to understand each and everything that has gone wrong in your early childhood and have to repair it. Repairing it. Repairing means bringing the inner and outside with balance. It is each and everyone's responsibility.
ഇവിടെ ഒരു പേര് അനേതിക്കണം പിന്നെ ഇവിടെ സാവന എന്താണ് സാവന
So it is everyone's responsibility. Each and everyone's responsibility. Order. Take order of the self. The order of the self. If you cannot attain the order of the self, One cannot maintain life in the given space. You can blame the government, you can blame your family members, you can blame everyone, but will never get any advantage. No one is going to help anyone in this problem of not attending to oneself. You can be of service to many people. Whatever they give will never be sufficient to maintain your harmony. What all other people can give you will never be sufficient to maintain one's harmony. They can give you many things. They can give you wealth, they can give you care, but it's not going to work. So focus on your inner self, where it is available for everyone. No one can deny the reality of one's existence in its true nature. In its true nature, one should always be able to understand the nature of oneself is the responsibility of each and everyone. If you are not giving attention to that nature, then everything will be always going wrong. You will be facing problems after one after the another. Only problems, no comfort. You're trying to fix one thing, it will be loose on the other side. You try to fix many things with many people, it will always make more problems only. You cannot fix with your mind, never can, because you don't have to fix anything, because it's working perfectly. It's functioning beautifully. It's always functioning beautifully. The beauty of itself is unremarkably beautiful. You don't have to make any comments or remarks about the beauty of being. Is beyond everyone's expectation. One cannot control the beauty of living. One can only enjoy the beauty of living. One don't have to make judgments about the living. If you're judging, that means your mind has taken over. It's working continuously for nothing, just for the sake of being only. The purpose is to be, not to gain anything. If you are gaining anything, it's only problems that you are gaining. If you feel that you are important in front of others, then there's problem only. If you feel superior or inferior, it's because you haven't aligned yourself in the given space. Once you are aligned in the given space, you will feel the potential far beyond any experience that can happen. Because this can sustain, this can remain stable continuously and always. So rely upon yourself, oneself. How well can maintain that oneself with my maturity? The capacity of maturity is very much important to enhance oneself with the inner self. It's enough one's awareness after reaching maturity to give attention to the inner self is sufficient to make one's living wonderful. There's nothing lacking for each and every person. When you have attained maturity, the capacity to reproduce, when you have reached the capacity to reproduce, that's enough. When you are having sexual arousal in your body, that is sufficient to maintain oneself with its clarity in its given space. If you are not looking into your inner self when you have reached maturity, then you will be always facing problems one after the another only. Once you attain this position of reaching your maturity, then still you are not attending to your inner self, then problems after problems will come to you. If you intend to enjoy your life, the scope is within you. Association. We are not communicating each other. This is not a communication. The communication is always with the space only. It's only association, interaction only. Interaction to know how it is happening to oneself. Each and everyone's responsibility is to understand what is happening to me. It's not communication. We cannot communicate each other. Communication happens only with the source. We can interact and understand with resonation, with the similarity, with the similarity exposed. We can understand how well our body is functioning, how well the body system is functioning. The communication should happen with the source. Water is a source, food is a source, our whole weight is a source, breath, expansion is a source, sound is a source, light is a source, unknown dimension is a source. So when we consider all this together, making oneself possible will give you ecstasy, will give you harmony beyond your mind's imagination. So your mind is not capable of understanding the wonderfulness of living. Mind can only relate oneself with the happening around. Mind's capacity is to always articulate with the environment. So don't depend on your mind to have a wonderful living possible. Depend on the totality. Mind will reflect many things into your inner self. If you are not occupied inside, your inside will be occupied by mind's reflection. If you are not expanding to your required level, your mind will take over and you will have illusions, eventually hallucination. Cannot fix everything. The mind is always asking to fix everything because you are not aligned with the inner side. If you are aligned with the inner side, your mind will never ask you to fix anything. You will never have confusion because your inside is working perfectly with the source. When your inside is not working perfectly with the source, your mind will be always occupying the inside. No option. You cannot help yourself. Your mind will definitely encroach, trespass into the inner self, and give you all sorts of ideas, dreams. And if you achieve your dreams, still you are in the same problem. Dreams will never work out for your harmonious life. Dreams are not the way to live your life. Sensing is the only possibility. Sense yourself. The more you can sense, the better you feel. It's working always. It never stops working. So interaction is only to be aware of oneself. So if you are with ego, that means you are stopping interaction. If you are with ego, that is you don't want to interact with anyone. You're obsessed with what you have. Then you are under the control of your mind. You're a victim of your own mind. Ego simply denotes that you are not connected with the source. You failed your own life. You failed your possibility. Then you are struggling. Then you are struggling to maintain yourself with problems. Problems only will have problems. Life never gives problems. His mind gives problems. It's always simple. No hardship. No problems in the process of living. In the process of living, it is always comfort, wonderfulness. It's functioning continuously. Whereas it started, one cannot find. If you tune into yourself, you can understand everything that you are required to. No unnecessary things will come into your mind. Your obligation will never be a suffering. Everything that you are doing will be an entertainment. You are soaked with everything that's required. Just expose it. By the expansion, it is getting exposed. Giving attention to oneself. The togetherness is only to give attention. It's only meant to give attention to oneself. There's no other purpose. If you are trying to gain anything, then you are losing. If you are trying to gain, you are losing. If you are trying to invite attention from others, you are losing. You just keep your attention for yourself. Everything required will come to you. You just give attention to yourself the way it is possible. The rest is assured. Everything required will come to your life. Nothing more. It's working continuously. No one can stop. No one can neither start this working. So getting to know yourself means tuning with the happening, tuning with the process of being is the only responsibility that one should attend. The subtle aspects of oneself is very important. The subtle aspects, similar to gross. The subtle should be similar to the gross. If the gross is overmanaged, you cannot have the subtle aspects of your inner self maintained in your awareness. If you're giving too much importance to the gross aspects around, you can never attain peace with your inner self. Giving more attention to the outer world, you can never ever sense the subtle aspects of being. To know the subtle aspects of the being, one should always give only required attention to what is happening around. Don't force attention. Don't try to understand what is not under your understanding. Just maintain. Simply maintaining will give you sufficient awareness of what is happening around. Don't force attention. Don't force knowledge into yourself. By reading books, by trying to be popular in the society, all these attentions will deprive of the attentions required to go into the inner world. Your outer world should be perfectly managed by starting from the family, mother, whoever is in the family, giving due respect to the people that you are interacting with, will give you the opportunity to have the subtle aspect, the softer sense of awareness will open very easily. The daily routine of life, if managed with harmony, one can always sense the inner beauty very easily. If you are taking over responsibility for other people's doing, that will give you problem. Don't take unwanted responsibilities of other people. Take, give attention to where you can, only sufficient attention. Muhammad, I was trying to add you. I think you can call in for and once more. You are not supposed to suffer your own attention. One should never cling to one thought repeatedly. No thought should haunt you. That means you are giving over attention to what is happening outside. Attention should work naturally. How my life is going to be tomorrow, you know, is your mind, is mind proposing that this is how you should live, but never possible. Your mind has no capacity to maintain oneself beautifully in the given space. Your ego should surrender. Only when your ego is surrendering, you can understand the subtle aspects of being, how water is working inside, how food is working, how you are carrying yourself. All this can be sensed only when your ego is destroyed. Your ego means your mind is taking over. Your inner self is not available for your experience. Living is the most simplest thing. Living is very powerful. Living has got everything required to maintain life in its glory. Suffering, trying to fixing, is always problem. You don't have to fix anything. Everything will be fixed perfectly by the universe itself. You are fixed here by the universe. If you are not willing to align with that source, all sorts of rubbish problems will come to you. So problems are simply because you are moving away from your trajectory. You're moving away from that orbiting position. One can feel that one is living, not by thoughts. Thoughts are not the feelings of life. Thoughts are just the reflection of the past. If you are ruled by the thoughts, that means you are damned. You don't have sense of awareness of the inner self. You're doomed. You have to cleanse yourself. You have to clean the inner self by taking responsibilities without suffering. Take your responsibilities without suffering. Do everything with care, with due worship to everything that you can do. You have to worship every activities that's possible for you, because the work that is possible is definitely by the universe. If you can move, you should worship that movement. You should give sufficient attention to every activities that is possible for you. If you cannot give sufficient attention to the movements that's possible for you, you will never attain peace with yourself. You are not having problems with other people. All the problems are within oneself. There's no problem with anyone else. All the problems are embedded in oneself only. All the disagreements, all the arguments, stress, fear, everything is embedded in oneself only. When you cleanse yourself, you will have perfect clarity. The beauty of being will be opened only from inside by working with clarity. Don't try to judge anything. You are not meant to judge anything. We are not responsible for judging anything. We cannot say true or false. Our capacity is to remain stable in that given space and live life wonderfully, not to judge others or to judge anything. Living is a command given by the universe. If you are not submitting yourself into that process of being, you will get destroyed eventually. All the problems are just an indication of destruction beginning. We are always around. We are always around to be, and not for anything else. So live your life with harmony. With harmony. It's possible. If you demand your inner self, it's possible to live your life comfortably, wonderfully, always.